Okay, so in our next part here, we are going to look at this paragraph which says Trump, meanwhile, has continued to refuse to concede and has remained obstinate in his unfounded claims that the election was marred by widespread fraud. Okay, so first we'll look at refuse to concede. So Trump refused to concede, and basically that means you refuse to concede when you are unwilling to admit that you are wrong. So I refused to concede the loss that my team faced. So my team faced a loss. We lost the match, but we refused to concede. So basically, we rejected the loss, and we said it's not true. So it's like a football game, and the team doesn't want to leave. They don't want to accept that they lost. They are refusing to concede. And the next one has remained obstinate. So this just means that he's remained kind of stubborn. He's remained unwilling to accept the results. So he's unwilling. So someone is obstinate when they don't want to accept something. So I was obstinate in my rejection of the need to get a haircut. So I was obstinate in not getting a haircut, basically. Like I was stubborn and I didn't want to do it, so I said, no, I'm not going to do it, and there's no good reason to do it. And we have unfounded. Unfounded just means like they weren't proved. So his claims have no proof and there's no evidence, so they're unfounded. Um, the the criminal made unfounded claims about how he had been framed. He had been framed. So the unfounded claims that this criminal made, there was no proof to them. So he said, I was framed. I was framed, which means like someone um, did the crime and actually made it seem like the criminal did it. So the criminal was framed. This is what he says. But his claims are unfounded. They haven't been found to be true. Unfounded. And the election was marred by widespread fraud. Marred. So it was marred. So basically that means like it was affected, it was covered with widespread fraud. The fraud was there a lot. And so basically what that means is his claims are that the election was marred by widespread fraud. So that means the election was affected by widespread fraud, or yeah, it was affected. It was there was a lot of fraud existed. So the protests were marred by violence. So that means the protests happened, but they were marred by violence. The violence happened. It affected the protests. It was maybe more noticeable than the actual protests. So instead of people caring about the protests, they care about the violence because it was marred by violence. Okay, so that's it. So then we will go to long shot here, extremely long shot bid. This is something you can say if something is really unlikely. So a long shot bid is like if I think about golf, like a long shot, like the hole is very far away and you're doing a long shot. You have to hit it really far. It's really hard. It's really unlikely that something positive will happen, like you're going to get a hole in one. So he has a long shot bid, really hard bid to overturn the results, and he doesn't have that evidence as well. Okay, so then the next one that we're going to look at to finish off this video is going to be a great word or phrase, proved fruitless. You can use this all the time. So let's look at fruit first. Fruit. There is an idiom we use, and the idiom is low hanging fruit. So basically, a low hanging fruit is something good, because fruit is good. We like fruit. Something that is good, and it's low hanging. So it's low to the ground. So it's easy to pick. So something that is good and really, really easy to get. So maybe the job opportunity was a low hanging fruit because maybe you are overqualified, and maybe your friend got you the job, or it was recommended to you and you knew the people who worked at this company, so it was a low-hanging fruit. It was pretty easy to get. Now, in this example, it says proved fruitless. So that means his attempt at challenging the election results, there was no fruit involved. There was no low-hanging fruit. So all those good things, the fruit that we want, they're not there. So it proved fruitless. So his attempt proved fruitless. And an example of this would be my attempt to get a job at this company proved fruitless. So basically it just means it didn't happen. So it didn't happen. So there's no fruit. So it proved fruitless. When you do something and it doesn't work out, you can say it proved fruitless. All right, and that's it.